See, I text Tyler on Sundays. I get no response. I text your brothers on Sunday. They immediate response.
Didn't I respond to you?
No.
What'd you send to me?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 48 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. Woo! This podcast is sponsored by, or voted number one by, I said sponsored by. Well, both. Sponsored by and voted number one by Wensco Sign Supply, because apparently it's pretty hard to stay not in the grasp of somebody we're going to talk about later today. So buckle up, because today we're going to talk about the GSG, Grimco's acquisition of GSG. So
Grimace?
Yeah.
Oh.
Big G's acquisition of Little G. So
the G's are coming together.
Yep. So it's only funny because we made a joke about it. You guys won't find it funny because they'll have the news is already out by the time you'll hear the podcast. But we made a joke about it in a podcast we recorded like, I don't know, December 15th, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we already.
And we held this day open, which is going to happen January 20th, right?
Yeah, we're recording backwards.
Well, yeah, so we kept this date open way before it was ever announced because we knew it was going to be announced.
We had too many.
It leaked way too early.
We would have actually made space, but we were recording so far ahead that by the time we found out about the news, we were like, oh, shoot, I guess we got to clear up some space. So
can we start with some New Year's resolutions? Because it's January 3rd right now.
Yeah, it is official. We made jokes in the last 5 episodes about it being Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, but now it's officially the New Year. So,
Domingo, any New Year's resolutions?
I have actually told myself I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day, 500 jump rope. Yep, a day, every day.
Did you do it today?
Yeah.
Good job.
This morning?
Yeah, this morning.
Dang.
Tyler?
I'm going to try and run 1,200 miles this year. So we did 1,000 last year. Barely. I was way ahead of schedule until I got whatever lung disease you gave me. And I didn't get to run for like 2.5 weeks.
That's not an excuse.
And then the last like 3 weeks, I was running like between 10 and 11 minute miles. And then the last 2 weeks of the year, I ran between like 14 and 12-minute miles.
Oh, you're getting close to mine.
So whatever it was messed me up pretty good. So, but yeah, so that's basically 3 miles every day for the whole year. My goal is actually do 3 miles every day, but 1,200 miles.
And you?
My 2 things. Number 1, I turned 50 this year. So
it's getting so old.
On my 50th birthday, or right near my 50th birthday, I need to have a 50-yard dash against my boys.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Because I think at 40, I could still beat them all in a 40-yard dash. But at 50, I don't think I could beat them anym's
I think.
But I might.
Tater's probably the only one that I think that could probably take you.
Yeah, Tater's going to be a little... Tater's my real challenge. Tyler?
I don't know. Tyler
Tristan physically cannot sprint.
Tristan will need a snack break halfway.
Is there a halftime?
And there's no halftime.
I could really use a halftime.
Yeah.
So my other one point. Is I think
it's like when you run a marathon, you have water on the side. That's Tristan at 25 yards. Give me the water cup.
Any snacks here? You got some chips?
He's looking for those.
No, he's eating chips as he's running.
How are you supposed to make it the full distance?
So my second one is I think this is going to be a first year. I want to compete in some powerlifting stuff this year because I just watched something. It was a 215 and under, and the guy won at 1370, so 1,370 pounds, and that's squat, deadlift, and bench. And I can do it right now, but I'm about 10 pounds heavier than that weight class. So could I do it if I lose 10 pounds? Maybe not, but I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a shot this year. At 50 years old. That guy was 32 that won too. So at 50, can I do it? I don't know.
Is there a geriatric division?
Domingo, why are you even laughing? So Domingo, I have one more question.
That's why Domingo's laughing.
Yeah.
He couldn't make the joke.
Exactly.
So Domingo, I have one more question.
Right,
so you're our Mexican culture guy here, right? So were your parents born in Mexico?
My mother was.
And then you were born here in the States. So he's our Mexican culture guy. What we've learned through TikTok is
Oh,
Mexicans,
TikTok.
Mexican culture. The newest thing for the older Mexican guys is to get bidets. Is that something that's coming out now? Is that something that the Mexican culture is doing?
It's coming over to America now, right? So the Mexicans are feeling that culture change. So yes, and where did you get that story?
So do you have one then?
I got one for Christmas, for crying out loud. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not happy with it, but I installed it. I had to run power. I had to do a bunch of stuff.
There's warm water.
It's warm water, warm seat, cooling fan, everything.
You should just know you have a rat. That's all you
Just
need to
know that. Yeah.
Well,
Someone tipped us off that he may have got one of these. And I'm like, we're going to wait till it's on live on air before we ask him about it.
I would add to that story, but it's probably inappropriate for this podcast.
Nothing's inappropriate. We're talking about Grimco GSG.
Well, speaking of poop. No,
That wasn't the word. That wasn't the word you wanted to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So anyways,
thanks, Domingo. We had to bring that up and see your face.
I tell you, somebody, I don't know how the rat got out.
we had to draft a whole intro just so we could bring it up. That was the whole point. We were like, how do we bring this up to him? So anyways, what we want to talk about, I'll just go through what we at least think that we know from everyone we've talked to. Grimco acquired GSG, official. It was supposed to be official January 1st, but I think they made it official slightly before that. It appears to be a full buyout. Grimco plans to continue to run GSG the same as it has been run for at least 6 months. Allegedly.
Yeah. We don't know this. I mean, this is just what we're hearing, right?
Correct.
Like we could be wrong.
All of this
we could be wrong, right?
Is allegedly, but I mean, we've talked to a lot of people who have also talked to all of their people. So at this point, it'd be crazy if we were missing some stuff. But
I think they both found out, GSG and Grimco, that nothing's a secret anymore.
No.
Right? Like in the beginning, you could keep Advantage a secret. You could keep some other things a secret. Now you just can't. Like it just doesn't happen.
There's too many people in the industry.
And then once it leaked, obviously I pushed it out pretty hard too. Once I realized hey, this could probably be true. And then you knew it was true when, okay, they're not sending something out to their staff and their entire staff thinks you've sold.
Yeah.
So then that's when you kind of knew. But there's a few points I want to make on this.
Yeah.
The first one I want to make is, we've talked to some of their employees. Obviously, they reach out to us. We have a little bit of a platform here with this. The things that they said that I want to kind of say might not be true is, Mark lied to us. Mark's the owner of GSG. He lied to us. He said he'd never sell. There has to be, in my eyes, there has to be intent. And when he was probably telling people, hey, I'm never going to sell, he probably meant it. And he probably was going to, and situations change. Health changes, economy changes, things change. I can tell you right now, I know these guys. I don't know them very well, but I know them pretty well. I know Mark, and Mark is the owner, Jared's the president, and I know their wives. And Mark probably did what's best for his family, without a doubt. And when I talk about even Mark's wife, she is one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet. She's the mom that you could hug and just not let go. That's who she is. So I guarantee they did what's best for their family. So did he lie? No, because I think there has to be intent in that original lie. You can say, hey, I'm going to do this. And if you thought you're going to do it when you did it, even though you did something different, it's not he had to do what's best for his family, right?
Yeah. I don't think he was trying to deceive them. I'm never.
I don't think there was no deceit. I think it's the honest truth. He's an honest guy.
Yeah. I think it's just looking at,
and I'll guarantee long term, it was the best for his family because he's a smart guy too. Both those guys are super smart people.
Yeah. And same thing. I think like we were talking about before, what I think people were hoping to hear from us is what we kind of had last year with the principal situation. I said, this one's a little different where that situation, we were literally shoved under the bus. That was kind of how it felt on our end. Literally got the short straw on that one, but this one's just different. This is, like I said to you before, I think this is just the nature of the beast, right? I think this industry's changing. Grimco is obviously trying to grow as quickly and as fast as humanly possible to get as big as they can. And I think GSG was in a spot where they were looking at, do we want to try and scale and compete with that? Or do we want to say, hey, we had a good run here.
And we could say, I mean, there's plenty of manufacturers or plenty of other distributors. There's plenty of customers that would love to hear us like just go full on rant.
Yeah.
And the reality is I might rant about Grimco a little bit, but I won't rant about GSG. Like they're good people.
Yeah.
And the story might take a little longer, but I'm going to tell you why. So the last couple years, 2023, 2024, terrible years for like me. Like, I know you're not supposed to say this as a guy, but emotionally tough years. 2023 was a year of like, when you have to sit across from a doctor and they tell you have cancer, even though it was melanoma. Melanoma can kill people, but it's not going to kill me. But it's that type of year where you find out, who your friends are and who your friends aren't. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. You find out that the people that you thought, would have your back don't. And the people that you don't think do. And that's where they like, obviously here, like my kids, yes, they have my back. Domingo for sure would come in. How you doing? A lot of people at Wensco did. But the people that didn't bothered me. Like Tyler and I, we went to the same church for 15 years. Not a single person. Like those are the people you thought would have your back.
Church people, yeah.
And they didn't. And the person that you didn't think would have your back that did was Jared. Jared would call me. And I can remember a very specific instance where I was sitting in the gym in Kentucky, just having a bad day. And it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm still there because I worked late on a Friday night. I look down, phone call, Jared Granberry. Hey, Mike, how you doing? He's calling me at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Like, that's not someone you would expect that cares about you, but he does. And my other point on this whole thing, on the cancer side of it, like, I'm fine, right? Like, and that's not the scary part of cancer. Like, and I don't think people until you're in a situation where your life is really in the hands of other people, you don't realize what it's about. It's not about being told you have cancer. It's not about the surgeries. It's not about the treatment. It's about the fear of the unknown. And at that point, what bothered me the most was my life's way less important than other people. And that part didn't bother me. But the fact is, my life, like my boys are gone. You're all raised. You're done. Like you have grandkids. You're on your own. Like, yeah, you could still use me, but I'm not needed. Where a mother of 3 young daughters is needed. A father that's still taking care of his kids is needed. Even an adult that's taking care of their ailing parents is needed. And that's what really bothered me is like, there's more people going through this. And part of that bothered me because my surgery was at the breast clinic, which is honestly kind of funny. So a quick funny story about that too, is they bring me in this gown to put on. And, there's bigger girls that go to the breast clinic, right? But they're wide a different way than me. Like my shoulders are way wider than any girl that's ever probably walked in there. So they give me this gown. It does not fit. Like it doesn't go side to side over my shoulder. Plenty of room front and back. It does not go side to side. I'm like, is this all you guys got? But that's one funny part. The other funny part was she said, hey, you need to have surgery right away. Like this was like it went from like going to a regular doctor's visit. The next day I had to be at the dermatologist. Like when they called me, you gotta be at the dermatologist tomorrow. I'm like, I'm busy. She's like, no, you're not busy anymore. You're at the dermatologist tomorrow. Went to the dermatologist, took more spots off, and then meet with the surgeon like the next day. I'm like, I'm busy. Anyways, we scheduled a cruise in between that. Like, can I go on a cruise like first, like before like all this surgery happens? And she's like, yeah, but the day you get back, you're going to be in surgery. Okay, no problem. Came into melanoma, skin cancer, sunburnt all to death.
Take it all off.
Yeah.
So she's like, are you sunburnt?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. So, but anyways, with that said, like Jared was the one that called up, that checked on me, and his family was going through some stuff too. So like he's the one that calls and checks on me and you wouldn't expect that. Well, and that's why I won't talk bad about him. Like that's a genuine guy that cares.
It's like I told you, when you have cancer, like I did, I had thyroid cancer, different perspective.
Yeah.
A lot of, I told you, family, friends, you're going to find out who your friends really are and who you can trust, right? And it's just, it's just different. I don't want people to go through it because it's a different fear in what you brought up. And it is true. but you have a different way of looking at things in life right now. And as you get older, same thing. Like I said, I'm much more caring now, more want to know how you're doing. How can I help you? You know, those kind of things.
You said it to me just a couple of days ago, didn't you?
I did.
Like
you've changed.
Yeah, you said you've changed. You've become more humble. Is what
Exactly.
you said. And it's true. Like I'm and I think it's because people that I realize care about me, but I'm also like, there's also a really pissed off side of me that's like, these people are supposed to care about me and they freaking didn't. Like
Tyler.
To the point. So the last funniest story about this whole thing.
I was just waiting for me to get thrown under the bus. Just sitting here the whole time.
I got thrown out. This one's for Domingo. So I had that surgery, right? And it was around ISA. And at one point, like and
Vegas.
I did come in here. I did come in one time in between before we went to Vegas because like you could feel the tension in this building, right? Like, is Mike okay? And they would ask the kids, is Mike okay? Is your dad okay? And they're like, yeah, he's fine. But like until so I came in here one day, made my rounds, talked to everybody, but then you didn't see me until Vegas. I was at ISA. I'm sitting at the table eating. I still have stitches in my back. Domingo comes up. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Slaps me right in the back, right in my stitches. I'm like, good job, Domingo, but that's where my stitches are. I just had surgery like a week ago.
And then what do? I rub his back.
Yeah, then he's like, oh, that's
okay. Oh, you're right. You're right.
I still have that shirt that I wore because that happened the whole time at ISA. Everybody's like, hey, Mike, how you doing? Because
it's nothing but love. That's all it was.
I still have that shirt that has a blood stain straight down the back where that shirt was bleeding.
There you go.
But no, like I agree. Like that's a different perspective, and kudos to Jared is like he's a true, genuine person. That's why we won't rant about him. But we ready to rant about Grimco?
Sure.
I'm ready.
I wrote.
How do we need? I mean, I could go off.
Oh yeah.
How detailed are we going to get on this conversation?
Well, I think
because to me there's a trust issue of saying things which really are not true. So when you're told something and they say they're going to do this and they're at this and it's different, it's all a lie. How detailed am I going to get on this conversation?
Yeah, we got to be a little bit careful.
Exactly.
But I want to talk in more general terms, like the example I was talking to you guys earlier, like Grimco's becoming where they're, and it's their right? Like, so to back up, they're buying all these companies. Like, we can't be mad at them. They're doing what an American company does. I've talked about it before. Yep. It is not Grimco's job to make sure Wensco stays in business. It's Mike's job to make sure Wensco stays in business.
No, I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah, but so what I want to talk about, though, the scary part about this whole thing for the customer is, and I brought the example of Walmart and Fremont here in Michigan. Walmart and Fremont, there's one and it's a small town, but they are perfect. Every shelf is perfect. The aisles are perfect. Every lane's open almost every time, like a lot of extra cashiers. The reason they're like that is because they're right next to Meijer, and Meijer's their direct competitor. Both those companies are very good. Now you go to like the Walmart that's just south of Louisville, terrible. Empty skids sitting in the aisle, no cashiers open. You can't find anybody at the counter. You can't find anything. Why? There's no competition within that area, and they don't have to be good. And Walmart realizes, hey, this is where we have to be good. This is where we don't have to be good. This is where we add extra resources. This is where we don't. And I won't fault Grimco for doing it, but they're going to do the same thing. And I would too. Like if you're in, well, the town we talked about is Denver. If you're in Denver, you can forget getting any national accounts because you're going to lose it to people in Chicago. Like if you're bidding on the Verizon account, you're going to lose it to someone in Chicago because there's a lot of good competition in Chicago. There's us, there's Midwest, there's Sign Outlet. I think that's it now. Grimco. Like you're going to lose to places where they have to be competitive, and there's places they don't have to be competitive. You're going to lose because you're going to pay more, and they're not going to stock it for you, but they don't have to. And that's the reason you buy that. That's the reason you get the cash to be able to do it, so you can do that. But that's the scary part is places where they're the only distributor. Are they going to ruin that market? Like, are you going to really struggle as the Signman because they don't have to stock everything you want. You're going to wait for everything. Yeah. And the ultimate person that loses is the end user.
Yeah.
Customers.
The customer's customer is really what loses. Like, hey, I need these 15 signs made for tomorrow's party. Like, I forgot. No, you can't get them because I can't get the stuff.
Yeah. Like if like if you're in Denver, that's the example we wanted to talk about is, so 18 months ago, your options were Denko, GSG, and Grimco. And now as of, I guess technically you have GSG and Grimco, but it's the same thing. And, but if you're trying to get sheets, like what are you going to do? Like if Grimco doesn't have them, there's no other option. You can't just go and pick them up. You can't buy from anybody else. You wait and you pay whatever price Grimco has for them because you don't have a choice.
You're going to see, and they're creating this, you're going to see Laird and Piedmont, places we haven't technically competed directly head to head with, are now going to compete directly head to head with the Grimco. Right. And that will hurt us a little bit too. Especially if they start delivering, because a lot of their stuff ship.
Yeah.
But you're going to see that kind of happen. And I also think you're going to see like the model between Grimco and Fellers are creating allows new distributors to pop up. Because I can go to Denver, if not even if I'm Wensco, if I'm just Mike, I can go to Denver with very little capital and be operational very fast. I have to take a little lower margin because I'm going to drop ship everything, because they've created this drop ship model from all these other places where I can go there and open up and compete instantly out of my garage, instantly. So it's kind of bad for us, kind of good for us. I'd like to see what's going to happen. Like I'd like to see who's going to go where. I think this opens opportunity for us too, because we didn't really. I can't say we stayed away from GSG, but like we didn't try to hit their accounts hard, right? And now we're going to, without a doubt. Like,
it's good. It's not even that we're going to try and hit them hard. It's the reality is
they're going to call us.
The customers
every time this has happened, those customers call us. When Grimco acquired Tube Light, the Tube Light customers called us and we're like, hey, I know we didn't use you guys in the past, but like we already had the two options that we did. Now we have one. We didn't like that option to start with, which is why we were buying from Tube Light. So now we're looking for somebody else. And I can think of two big accounts off the top of my head that we didn't touch them because we knew it was a GSG account and they liked GSG. So we're like, okay, well, it's yours then. We're not going to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't
and we don't have to do anything. They're just going to call us and be like, hey, we need this product
it's a win
now.
for us. I mean, because that's what I'm saying. I'm getting phone calls from GSG customers that are asking me about, do you carry this brand?
Yeah.
Do you carry this? Can I get this? And it's like, I'm getting emails that I've never seen before, which is great. But I'm just kind of passing it along to the sales rep saying, hey, look, this is an opportunity for us, which is great. Anytime there's an acquisition, we love it, right? I just don't understand they're just buying the business. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, and there's definitely
they're
a formula
in their locations. That's what
that was the other thing that I had in my starting notes too. So GSG has 10 locations. Grimco is in the exact same city as 9 of those.
Yeah, 9
out of 10.
They're just buying the business. So the book of business. That's all they're doing.
But there's probably a formula like, okay, we're going to pay this much for the company. We're going to retain this much business, which I think they're probably, they got to know now, right? Okay, they probably retain more of Pioneers, then less of Advantage, then less of Midwest, and then really less of Tube Light.
Right.
So like that they have to know the formula, and it has to be obviously has to be worth it, or they wouldn't do it because they're not doing it. They're not stupid people.
So I think the one thing after us is I think they've been winning less and less business every time they acquire a company, right? There's already a lot of crossover, and there's already people that are GSG customers that didn't like or want to buy from Grimco in the first place, and they know that. So the other thing that I think is happening that I think as customers you should know about is this is also 100% bullying a bunch of the vendors in the business who either didn't sell through Grimco or were big through GSG, and they're being put in a corner where they're not really have a choice anymore in the matter because
you need them now.
Yeah.
But this is where I'm kind of happy about it. Like every company that's got to where Grimco's got across the board, any area, they get to that point, they forget that there's a customer. Like I go back to my Kmart. Kmart forgot there's a customer. JCPenney forgot there's a customer. Sears forgot. They started doing things the way, we do it this way because they're going to have to buy it. They always go out of business. Always. Or they drastically cut back. And the lone exception really is Walmart. But you see them even changing locations and doing different things, but they're really good where they have to be.
Yeah.
And the less and less you have to be really good, the less and less you forget how to be good.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it Denver's like a perfect example, right? So give this, another 12 months from now, and those prices in Denver are just going to creep, right? You may not notice it at first. It's going to be small. It's going to be 1%. But a year from now, right, you're going to be like, hey, we're paying 10%. And they're going to be like, yeah, it's inflation. Until someone opens up, and they will not correct in time, because what's going to happen is they're going to open and they're going to have actual good pricing, which is the pricing it already should be in the first place. And it'll be too late, because you'll have broken all trust. Like once you see where the pricing's actually supposed to be and realize that they've just been slowly raising it on you, it's going to be too late. They're not going to want to go back, be like, oh no, our pricing's good now. Be like, oh yeah, it could have been good for 12 months. Apparently you just were lying to us, basically. And I think that's already happening. Like as I was reading through like a bunch of the comments on people that are been posting about this on Facebook and all that stuff.
Funny ones, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I did write, shout out. We should give you a shout out. Shout out Grimco, 150 years of business. Congrats to you guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
If you want to know how people feel about it, go check their new profile picture on Facebook and look at the comments. I specifically said there's one from Dave is his name. I won't read the comment. It might be gone by now. If it is gone, that'll be even funnier. But if it's not gone, you should go look at it, because I think it's pretty funny. But the other thing I was seeing was people saying like, oh, we don't buy from Grimco because their pricing's already more expensive. And my brain immediately went, that never happens here. Never. In Detroit, in Chicago, in Grand Rapids, the only time we hear about them is when our sales reps come in and say, hey, Grimco came in and undercut us on price. That's good for the customer, right? But when they don't have competition, they're not doing that, right? They're not coming in aggressively priced. They're just coming in like, this is the price. What are you going to do about it? There's no other options. So they're putting sign shops in a spot where they don't have a choice, and they're just going to pay higher prices across the board.
And you go back to that Facebook post. It was Facebook, right?
Yeah.
When you just change your profile picture 250 years and there's hundreds of comments bashing you, that's a problem. That's a problem.
The number of positive comments on any of the Facebook posts that said Grimco acquired GSG was like 5%, right? And they have to know this, right? Like that's where it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, but some of them are the ones that get me is everyone's just mad, right? They're like, oh, come on. Yep. We're losing another one. And then I saw one comment that was like, you guys are all mad about this, but obviously some of you are still buying from them because they're buying people. Exactly. So it's like, you're all out here complaining, and we deal with this with our customers, right? Be like, oh, we hate dealing with Grimco. Okay. What do you got Max Metal sitting on the wall for over here? Okay. You hate them. Yeah. Obviously you hate them. Yeah. Like, we get it, but don't tell me you hate them. And then you're like, yeah, but sometimes their pricing's pretty good, so we use them. Be like, okay, I get it, but you're going to run into this situation. Like, I'm not saying you should spend more money to buy it from somebody local, right? Like I made a LinkedIn post about this probably like 18 months ago, where I hate the term shop local, right? It is not my job as the consumer to buy locally from you. It is, if your pricing is good, then it's convenient and it's local. That's a win-win. But I'm not going to pay exponentially more. Like, I'll pay a little more for the convenience, but I'm not going to pay way, way, way more for the convenience, right? So it is Wensco's job to make sure that our pricing is good so that you guys want to buy from us. But we can only get in the ballpark, right? If you still continue to buy from them, what's going to happen is the local ones are just going to keep closing, right? So as long as we stay competitive, all we're saying is, like, if you hate them, there's other options. You don't have to buy from them. Like, and sometimes I feel like you think you're in a pinch. You probably can just call, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, just call the sales rep.
Yeah, we'll always figure it out.
Because
we'll figure it out. We'll always figure it out.
Speaking of what you were talking about earlier, the thing that lies the most in our entire industry is a certain competitor's website that says it's in stock, because it's not true.
Not in stock.
It's just a generic label on their website, and we run into it all the time. I lost an Epson deal one time to this certain competitor because I told the customer it was going to take them 6 weeks to get their printer. They said, I don't have 6 weeks. This guy says they can get it to me next week. It's like, okay, they must have it in stock. You know what showed up 6 weeks later?
The printer
from the other competitor. So it's
deceiving.
So it's just that stuff. Like, when that keeps happening to you, but then you just keep feeding them.
Yeah. I don't feel sorry for you. Like, I do the same thing with their equipment here. When all of a sudden, hey, can you help us fix this machine? No, you bought it from Grimco. Like, call them.
Yeah.
Well, you're a servicing dealer. Can you help me? No. Well, they had a better price. Okay, well, that's why.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have bought it from me, I would print your stuff right here in shop. Like, no problem.
Yeah.
Or we'll loan it to you.
We'll
bring it to you.
So like,
Yeah.
and when they try to get down, I'm like, I don't feel sorry for you.
No.
I don't, like, you chose your path.
Yeah.
I save 150 bucks.
Keep walking down that path.
That's the other thing you're going to realize, like with equipment, which is a huge part of our industry, right? Equipment and service, like it's only going to go downhill, right? If you don't have anyone to compete with, we have what, 3, 4, technically, if I count Kevin as one of the techs working here. We have 4 techs in GR, right? If I'm Grimco Denver, I have 1, maybe
0.
Shoot, I might just
and
bring him
what's
in.
your turnaround time on
I
that?
might just bring them in from Dallas every couple weeks, you know? And it's like, yeah, oh, your machine's down? Yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks,
Yeah, exactly.
right? It's like,
No, I need it up today or tomorrow.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be huge.
Well, that's where we'll thrive, right? That's where the rest of us that are still out there doing the right thing will thrive. And that's why I say, like, you eventually run yourself down to where you have to change. And at that point, you're so used to not having to change. Will you change?
Yep.
And that's what happens to a lot of these bigger companies. And I hate saying it out here because Grimco might pay more attention, but like, that's what happens. Like, you forget how to change. And that's ultimately what is your demise at the end is, you think you know more than the customer knows.
Yeah. And I think what may be the thing that catches up to them is what we were already talking about, right? Where everyone's like, oh, we can't stand up, but they keep buying. But like at some point, like, and this happens with people, right? Where like you'll all of a sudden a new customer will come in and they just are buying everything. You're like, well, weird. And then you walk in there and they're like, yeah, one thing happened. I'm never going back. Right. And they physically never go back. Some of them are liars and they just go back, which that is what it is. But like, if you do that enough times, like you'll just die. Like there's no way to come back from like, oh, we pissed these people off so bad that they refuse to do business with us under any circumstances. And if you do that enough times, that especially if you do it where you're the only option, right? The second another option comes in, it's gone. You're never getting that business back. And that branch is going to be gone. Like it's just going to be devastated. You take away, I mean, you think about like some of these locations, like especially in like the bigger cities where it's like 5 or 6 customers, right? That it's holding up that branch, right? It's like if any of those ones were to go, be like, we don't have enough, there's not enough money coming in to keep this building running. And it just takes like, hey, we're open. And it's over. Like there's no hope for you at that point. So that's what I think as the customer they're having to hope for is like, hey, we're by ourselves right now. So like hopefully someone else shows up here. And Denver really is the only one. Like everywhere else, you have Reese, Glance, or us in those locations to cover it. So if you're in any of the other locations or buying from GSG in any of the other locations, those are who I would look at. If you're south, it's going to be Reese. If you're not in the Midwest, it's Glance. And if you're in the Midwest, it's us and Glance probably.
But if you're in Florida, you got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's just some spots now where there's bigger and bigger gaps for distributors where before, I mean, even 5 years ago, you had so many options. Like even on like the East Coast now we're losing all of them. And
just wait until like economy. They have two branches. Wait until they start spreading out and saying, hey, you know what? There's opportunity.
They will.
They're going to start spreading out.
And they're still young.
Very
and
young.
They're still figuring out how multiple branches work.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard because the Miami branch is like all their family. Like this is dad, this is uncle, this is sister, this is cousin. And then when you move to a new location, you're like, wait a minute, my family's not there.
Yeah.
Like, so I understand it, but they will figure it out. They're smart guys. They're hard workers. The whole entire family's hard workers. Like they'll figure it out. They'll be spreading.
But the question is,
we'll be there to support them.
The question is, why can 2 young guys open up a branch in Orlando?
Because there's a need.
Yes.
Like I said, it's
it's
getting very easy.
And it's not a need that there's nobody available. It's that we don't like anybody local.
Exactly.
Like when we do the franchise shows, that's what we hear the most.
Exactly.
Is, hey, when are you guys going to be in blank? And you'd be like, why? And be like, we hate the current options that we have. Like they don't deliver on time. They don't stock anything. It's like this. It's literally, we talk about all the time. It's literally the physical job of distributors is what they're failing to do. Stock the product, deliver the product. That's 90% of our job, and the other 10% is equipment.
That's basically almost what it says in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Like it's so like
Distributor.
the reality is it's so simple. But then again, so complex on the other side because you got to stock the right stuff.
But they're leaning on the vendors to do it, and then they're blaming the vendors when you don't get your product. But the reality of it is that they're just not holding up their end of the bargain, right? They're not putting it on the floor, even when you're buying it, which is even more weird. You're buying a product regularly and they still just keep drop shipping it to you, and then they don't have it and you have to wait 2 weeks, but they could have just brought it in and put it on the floor in the first place.
And this is what bothers me because Grimco's biggest fear, like if you actually sat in their board meeting or whatever, their biggest fear is probably Amazon or Grainger, right? That's their biggest fear. But they're also at the same time creating a market that they're going to be able to compete with us. Like when you're asking the vendor to drop ship all your product and you're asking the vendor to put more people on the street to help you sell the product.
Yeah.
At what point do they not need us? They can just go to Amazon or Grainger.
Especially
on
vinyl.
Like somebody that already has the structure to do it.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason I don't see if something doesn't change, Avery 3M are going to go through Amazon. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
If we don't change the approach with, it's the Grimco and somewhat Fowler's approach. Like you have to change it. Like you gotta leave room for the distributor. But if you don't, like, okay, well that's out of our market. Like it hurts them more than it hurts us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's a bigger number for them than it is for us. Like can Grimco make it without 3M and Avery and Orful?
Yeah.
We can.
And they're putting themselves in a spot where that's what the vendors are thinking about, right? Is, hey, do we go direct? And the problem with that is a lot of times you're not going to get it tomorrow, right? Versus currently with a lot of our competitors, right? If you order it today, you're going to get it tomorrow, right? We like to tell people we probably did that earlier than everyone else, but it's become standard now. And then Amazon has made it even more standard than it was before. But the problem is if they go direct.
Yeah, we did it 15 years ago. Order today, get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that was, at that point, it was hard.
Order today, get it today is actually what we did.
Yeah, we did order today, get it today.
It took Amazon like 25 years to figure that out. So we were way ahead of them. We got this dialed in.
Yeah, but I think another opportunity is the vendors, new vendors, like vendors that we don't carry, are now approaching us.
Yeah.
We want you to start selling our product. You know, we need you, right? So that's great for us. But now it's shelf space. You know, let's say that we bring on a product X. Now we have to have shelf space everywhere in our branches to have it.
Yeah, and it takes more capital too because we do stock it. Like the amount of inventory we have is substantial.
So give us better rebates and
yeah. The amount of inventory we have is substantial, but we have to have it. Like
you have to have it.
Like that's our job, right? Is to continue to create enough capital that we can put it into inventory. So,
well, and the other thing you should know with this whole thing going on is that I've never seen our vendors more nervous than they have been in the last 3 months. And because I think they're realizing they're getting put in a really tight spot, right? They're physically a lot of them are literally getting bullied basically by Grimco to do what they want them to do. And
but I would do the same thing.
100%. I'm not blaming them for that, right? Like if I'm the number one buyer of X product, I'm going to reach out to you and be like, hey, I need better pricing. Like I sell more of this than anyone else. Give me better pricing. And they're realizing we're going to be in a real tight spot here if this keeps going the way it does. And I've never been, in a nice way, and I guess also an annoying way from some of them, but never been more harassed by vendors than I have in the last 2 months where it's just like, hey, you got time on your calendar? You got time on your calendar? You got time on your calendar? It's like, yeah, I get it. Like you guys are in a bad spot. Okay. But they're just nervous about like, hey, we're going to need our product to be everywhere right now. And currently they're physically trying to shut that down. I mean, there's vendors that our customers have asked us to bring on that we physically can't bring on because of a company holding them up from giving it to us.
Right.
Like not the vendor. The vendor was like, yes, we would like to sign you up. And they're like, oh, actually we can't sign you up. And that's it. Right. That's the end of the we can't sign you up.
That's
what is that
stipulation.
supposed to mean? We can't. And So if you're a customer who's been trying to buy a product from us and you haven't been able to, and you've been like, why can't you guys bring it on? That's probably why. It's not like we didn't try. Domingo's got 4,000 things on his plate, but sometimes it's just the answer is no. Well, that's the explanation.
But
no.
we keep pushing. We keep pushing for it.
Yeah, at some point they start to. I mean, what was it? It was only 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. We only had Arlon. We didn't have 3M or Avery. And then we brought them on, and obviously we're
Dennison.
Avery Dennison. Sorry. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, legal.
Legal over there, or legal over there.
But no, we didn't. I mean, we didn't have either one of them, and both those companies were their top risers for a lot of years in a row now.
Yeah.
Like, so people are starting to realize like there's a benefit to people that are actual like feet on the street distributors. But we also got to be better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it feels like we are just, when I went back to we're happy, you were saying we're happy every time there's an acquisition, because that business, the main vinyls, besides Arlon obviously, but the main vinyl business just starts walking in the door as soon as the acquisitions happen, right?
We love them.
And then at the end of the year, the vendors are like, oh yeah, we had a great year. Can you see our change in shelf space? Be like, 0. It's the same. You'd be like, what do you mean? Be like, we're just up. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you didn't steal from Arlon. You didn't steal from Avery Dennison. You didn't steal from General Formulations. You're just up. I don't know what to tell you.
When you see a new location up, literally millions, like, okay,
Yeah.
that city signs didn't grow millions.
No.
Like that's somebody else is down
Yeah.
millions
Yeah.
in that city. So it's that kind of stuff where you just kind of sit back and smile, or when the vendor says, yeah, how did you increase your sales 80%? I don't know. They keep buying people and they keep calling us and we keep having to deliver it to them. Like, are we actually doing it? No, they're our sales force the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And if they could do a couple more, it'd be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just been the last 24 months specifically though, but like, it's just people just walking in the door. Like, as long as we keep doing what we're doing, which is what we've actually been harping on for the last, few weeks here, especially of, hey, we need to have good sales reps on the road, able to answer your questions. We need to stock your product and we need to deliver it efficiently. And we've been saying that for the last 47 episodes on this podcast. And then the last 4 weeks, we've been having the conversation like, hey, do you think we should maybe like make sure that we're actually doing this? Like, we've been saying we're doing it, right?
Yeah. That came up in a meeting where I was just like, we've been saying this. It better be happening. Like, I was talking to the sales manager. I'm like, it better be happening.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if we should say it or not. Like, we had a sales rep that didn't buy gas for a week or so, and I caught it, and I'm like, that dude better get on the road. And if he's listening, you better be on the road.
I'm 100% sure he listens. Yes.
So yeah, I'm watching your gas receipts. You guys don't buy gas for like a week or two. That means you're not going enough places.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff we look at and we watch and we monitor and we help, but you're not going to get away with sitting at home, making phone calls.
Yeah, making phone calls.
So we got people here that can do that.
Yeah. And to add to that, we don't want to talk bad about them, but what we knew about reps from some of these vendors that have been acquired is that we also knew the reps were never leaving the house. We never ran into them. When we asked about it in shops, nobody ever saw them at big accounts that we're currently buying from that competitor. They're like, we haven't seen a rep in, 8 months.
Yeah.
And and that looks bad on you. If you're a GSG rep that we knew wasn't leaving your house, wasn't working hard, and you called us for a job and we kind of laughed. Okay, so you would know, hey,
yeah,
I wasn't
just so
leaving
you
my
know,
house.
You may not be looking for a job now, but just know we're still watching.
Yep.
We know
Yeah.
who you are,
Yeah.
right?
We
Exactly.
know a lot of people
When
there.
these acquisitions happen, we have a list. Like, these are the people that are top tier. These are the people, no thank you, right? And
Well,
we're going to get those resumes too.
And we get the information from our vendors as well.
Yeah.
So
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows
who's
who.
working hard.
Exactly.
I mean, we know we got crappy ones. Listen, we're not gonna say names, but we got some crappy ones. So we're gonna work. Tony's gonna work on them this year, I think.
Yeah, that's the focus of 2025.
Yeah, we realize that we're in a spot where what we've been saying, we got sales reps on the road who know what they're talking about. And it's like, hey, if there's anything we're doubling down on this year, it's that, right? We're going to make sure they're on the road and we're going to make sure they have your answers. And if they don't have your answers, they're going to have every contact humanly possible to make sure they get the answer for you. So I think our relationship with our vendors has never been better. I was just going through our marketing sponsorship program, right? So I have 19. I looked at Rick like he was going to know the answer, but I haven't even sent it to them, so they don't know. Like 19 vendors on our sponsorship program for next year. And I think I didn't have to look up a contact for probably 17 or 18 of them. Some of them have changed. That's the only reason I'm having to look them up. But otherwise, like we've just kind of developed a relationship with the majority of our vendors, but it's like an individual person, right? It's like, I know who I get a hold of at this company. And I think we've been more intentional about that, because when you ask a question that's super specific, right? It's like, hey, I need a vinyl for the underside of a garbage truck. And you're like, yeah, okay. So you need like rusted metal vinyl. I don't know. What am I going to put on there? Like, you're never going to know the answer to that kind of stuff, right? And it's, if you don't have the contacts, you'll never get the answer, right? Versus the people we physically had on this podcast are the people I reach out to, which oftentimes, honestly, is not even the right person, right? Like, I text Matt Edward for stuff all the time. I know he's not the person that's supposed to answer my question, but he always answers my question, right? Like, I don't have to.
Well, that's the same thing when people call me. There's so many people between you and me. Quit calling me.
But they call because.
Well, that's the same thing.
Keep answering questions,
I just reached out to one of our vendors this week and said, I want you to come in because I don't know enough about your product.
Yeah.
And he's going to come in. It's, Jordan from GE?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan. I said, come in because I don't know enough about your LEDs.
Yeah.
Like, I know everything there is to know about United.
Yeah. Inside and out.
Inside and out, backwards, forwards. I could probably put one together for you.
Yeah.
But I don't know GE that well. And when I got asked and I didn't know the answer, immediately I'm like, Jordan, you got to come in here. Like, that's like, I need to be able to answer that question for our sales reps. I need to be able to answer that question for myself. And that's what we do from the top down. Like, Tony's the same way. Like, we just need to. The guy from General Formulations is right outside.
Oh, they're picking up.
They're picking up. General Formulations picking up from here?
This is shout out to Wensco. So General Formulations is, they're sponsoring the, it sounds bad when I say it this way, but that's literally how they read it to me, was the,
they got Alpha Panel.
Dude brought a little station wagon to pick up some Alpha Panel.
So
we could have delivered it, Tyler.
So they're sponsoring the handicap ski club at Cannonsburg. And so they made like a whole bunch of signage, helped with this shed and everything. And then Matt just texted me and was like, hey, can you guys cut me some Alpha Panel? We're like, sure, no problem. So, I mean, the sheet they got might have already been damaged. So it seems like we're doing them a solid, but they didn't need the whole sheet. So we did help them. So our sign will go up. We got Wensco up there. We're doing our part today. That's what Doug's here for. Panel. So that's funny that I told him to ask for Tayton when he got here. So it's funny. He must have literally just walked in and asked for Tayton.
He did. I saw him walk in and I'm like.
And Tayton knew exactly what he needed because it was literally sitting in my office. So anyways, General Formulations, shout out again. But I think where we're at is we need to be in a spot where we are the people that you can go to with your questions. And we do like this, if you haven't heard of Kahoot, you should just do it with your employees because I think it's hilarious, especially out of surprise, just like sit down for a morning meeting and then boom.
Spell it so they know. And then
Kahoot, I believe is how it's spelled. So it's a platform where you can create like these quizzes and you can do them publicly and you can see everyone's scores, right? So it like shows them on the board and you score points by how quickly you answer the questions as long as you get them right. So we do this with our sales reps at least once a year. We've been doing it actually more frequently. And it's just like a general product knowledge quiz, right? So just put a bunch in there. And I love taking them because I don't sit in on the sales trainings anymore. Like pretty infrequent that I actually, sometimes if I'm free, I do them. But like even today, is there one today or is it next week Friday? I think
next week Friday.
I have a meeting over top of that training, so I won't be in. But when we do that training, I'm going to sit in and do it because I'll physically take it personal when I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about, right?
I think
And
it's
that
funny
train-
when we've done some of those cahoots, like we did that. The one of the first ones we did was at Vanguard.
Yeah.
So we did a sales training, and I'm half paying attention. Like I don't sell machines.
Yeah.
I'm half paying attention, beat everybody. And then of course that was bad for everybody because like I was half paying attention.
Yeah.
And I beat you. Mark Hallward, when I beat Mark Hallward, he took it personal. Like,
Yeah.
And that product training that we're having is on die knock. So yes, Wensco has become a die knock
Yeah.
dealer. 3M die knock.
Yeah. So we'll just take it personally. Like if I don't get it right, I don't think all our sales reps do that. I wish they would, right? I wish there was a way to like, hey,
Yeah, but we're competitive by nature, right?
Yeah.
Like and
some
The
of them
sales team are.
it's not just about like events that we're competitive.
Yeah.
Like literally everything is competition.
yeah,
So like every day of my life is competition.
yeah. And
didn't Brian Coates come in, the rookie, and
yeah,
Yep.
Brian Coates takes those quizzes very seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
There may be no prize on the line.
He's
Sometimes there's a
competitive
prize on the
too.
line. He takes them very personal.
Yeah,
You
he's-
see him getting all riled up if he's not on the top of that leaderboard. When we had to do it for the summer one, oh boy, he pulled it out in the end. But
Yes, he did.
It was a comeback, that's for sure. But yeah, we have some sales reps that are like that, right? Where it's like, if I don't know something, I'm taking it personal. Like I should have known the answer to this. Not all of them are like that.
Well, you knew because the last and sales reps that you're listening, it's going to happen again. We give them the quiz from the previous year at the what do we call it? National annual
sales
whatever it is,
meeting.
I joke.
worldwide sales meeting.
I joke about every year because I feel like the name gets longer every year, that I should just like, I made the banner for it. And I honestly want to just make it like 8 lines of text. Be like the Wensco annual sales summit of sales reps in the Midwest region, Sign Supply distributors event.
Association.
Association event.
Yeah. But what I was saying is we give them the quiz we give them at the end of last sales meeting. We give them at the beginning of the next sales meeting a year later.
And it's
the
the
same
same
quiz, the exact same quiz. And when you have the exact same people with the exact same score, it means they didn't go take it personal. In me, I'd say just can them. But obviously can't do that.
Trying to be nice.
So you
We
try to
need
be
'em.
nice. We need them.
'em.
But if you work at a certain Sign Supply distributor and you're looking for a job, you can apply.
Well, there's like
I'm
I
looking
said,
for some good people in certain areas.
yeah, certain areas. That's right, and we have some names. So we have a list, like we said earlier.
But
There's a lot of good people there that are in the industry that we still need to give them an opportunity.
And we're always looking for good people, right?
Always.
Like
Yep.
Grimco's been very good to us with good people. Kind of good people.
yeah, kind of.
I mean, we got mediocre Domingo, Bob, Brian. Who
The
else we got?
rejects. We got the rejects.
Yeah, all
right?
the people that have been
Wensco
rejected
rejects
by
came over here.
Grimco that are now part of our management team.
And now
here's the
they're
problem.
thriving.
Here's the problem is
It's a good fit.
We understand why. Yeah. It wasn't skill related. It was personality related, right?
Yeah.
We take the oddballs here. We're really good at it. Like, I
got
think
a
they're
bidet at his house,
they're
right?
A little too,
Hey, you fit right in.
they're a little too corporate over there. They have to come over here. So
We're not very corporate over here.
no. I mean, you literally got made fun of today because you wore dress pants. So that's how cool
That is pretty fun.
our office is.
More than one person. Like I literally have dress pants on today.
Like,
and
what, you got a big meeting or something?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like 5
I
or
was-
6
I
people in the
thought the
office
same.
said, "Oh, what do you got dress pants on for?" I'm like, why can't I wear a dress shirt and dress pants?
It was the only clean pair he had.
My laundry person's been on strike for a while.
Yeah. Being him, he's just looking at the pile every morning. He's looking at the pile every morning like,
No,
not today.
Listen, here's what happens. So you instead of putting it in the laundry basket, I put it right in the washer. And then eventually it gets too full. I'm like, now I got to take some out so I can do the load. So then I just keep piling them on there. And I'm like, at some point, I'm like, okay, I have no jeans. I got to take half the pile out, start it.
It's like it's like when you go to start the washer and then you realize that there's a load in there that never made it to the dryer and you're thinking, how long have these been in here? I don't smell very good. Just
Yeah.
forewarning.
We're moldy.
A little too frequently in my life. I tend to
I
forget.
have another question for you guys. When you guys get up in the morning, do you make your bed? Like right now at home, is your bed made?
No.
Yeah. I get yelled at.
You have to make your side when you leave.
I got to make my side.
Rick, what about you, buddy?
Well, my wife is sleeping when I leave, but
You don't push her out and then make it?
No. You make your side, right? You do your side?
I make a full bed when we're both out.
But when
But
she's
when
in there, you just leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get yelled at.
Yeah.
I make my bed.
I got a wonderful
I was thinking
life.
about. I make my bed every day, and I'm literally the only person that ever sees it. Nobody else, nobody comes over. Nothing. Like I'm the only one that sees this. I'm like, why am I doing this? But I've just been conditioned to do it. Like I literally make it, and mine's
It's the first win of the day.
it's square kilts. It's square quilted, so you can tell if it's straight or not. And like every day, I'm like, it looks straight. Okay, I can leave. I'm like,
Lord.
well, there's something wrong with me.
Little habits.
Yep.
The problem with mine is there's a pattern to it. So
Three
when I get
kids,
yelled at all the
two
time, I
kids,
don't
and a
notice.
dog.
I don't notice when it's facing the wrong direction.
the pattern.
Then immediately it's like you put it on the wrong way. Be like,
What is
guess-
going on that you had to take it all the way up? Like
Yeah.
like I literally just had to fold it back over. I don't
Yeah,
move
that's
when
all
I
I
sleep,
do.
and I have cramps all night.
hey, I know you're turning 50 this year, so it's been a while. But if you've had toddlers in your house, sometimes I wake up, I don't even have any blankets at all. They're all gone. I went to bed with 3. I have half of one when I woke up in the morning.
You
and
gotta
somehow
protect 'em, Tyler.
Somehow the blanket,
Protect 'em.
It's not like it went off the side. That would
Yeah.
make more sense. No, it's off the back end of the bed. Like I don't know what they did. Got up, just off the bed.
Too hot.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, all right, I guess. Yeah, the same thing. Sometimes I wake up, I went to bed, it's just me and Riley. I wake up, there's 2 kids in bed. I don't have any idea when they got there, what time, how, if Riley brought them there, if they walked there themselves, no clue. I was out cold. So
You start
that's
getting the
how-
little feet on your back.
So yeah, exactly.
Like a cat.
So
Just push
sometimes
it.
the comforter isn't on the bed at all. Then you have to at least put it back on the bed. I don't want it on the floor.
All right, sorry I got
Yeah.
off us on that tangent. But
Yeah.
one more thing on that tangent. You guys got me that Whoop thing. This
Yeah.
thing. It's on my arm right here. This Whoop bracelet. It tracks. One of the things I really like. It tracks your sleep and recovery, so it knows your workouts and it tells you. And every day it tells me I need to take a 2-hour nap. Every day. Like I got up this morning and I look at it and I'm like, you're an hour and 51 minutes. You need more
Sleep deprived,
for
yeah.
recovery. So yeah, like, and my average time in bed right now is 6 hours and 22 minutes. That's not sleeping. That's average time in bed is since I've had this for 2 weeks now. So,
You're crazy.
so yeah, I don't sleep much either,
That's
but
too
you
much
don't
work
need
to
it.
do.
I said the worst, the only mistake God made was making us have to eat and sleep because we could have worked all the time if we never had to eat or sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was all I had for. Oh, the other thing is what I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. Grimco plans to run GSG the same for the next 6 months, allegedly.
We
Just
saw
like
that
Midwest.
happen with Midwest and what happened. It failed. Who's going to be in charge of it? Who's
Well,
going to be in charge
You
of
said
it?
Midwest. What about Tube Light?
Yeah, Tube Light didn't. Well, they didn't say it as much.
Their
But
website
Midwest,
literally said Tube Light Grimco. Like they had a new website put up with that, and it lasted like a week and a half. It was not long. It was just like it's Tube Light Grimco, and then it was just Grimco's website. Like 2 weeks later, it was like, okay, that was fast.
because you got to have some. Obviously, you're going to have some max exit. You're going to have that. So you got to put someone that's pretty strong in charge of it. And who do they have? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
maybe they got someone that's super strong that can be in charge of that. But you're going to have shortages everywhere.
Yeah,
Because it's not just sales reps. You're going to lose just regular drivers. Everybody that knows, like, okay, well, they use a carrier, they use this. They're all going to go, right?
yeah,
Like GSG did what we did. Like technicians, they don't use technicians. They're all going to go. So you're going to be dealing with a ton, and you got to have a super strong person. I mean, it's not an easy task.
No,
Tube Light was
100%.
probably a terrible task. They're probably still dealing with it, and then to have this go right back on the backside of it is just got
Yeah.
to be
Well, you have to think about it. Like we talked about
operations a nightmare.
We talked about this, which is why you led with what you did about knowing Mark and Jared. The reason we bring that up is because they share 9 of 10 locations and they can deliver to the 10th one. The 10th one is Tulsa. They can deliver to it probably out of Oklahoma City, which is probably what's going to happen anyways, which means that all those locations are closing. That's what's
Yes.
going to happen. Like
Pretty
there's
much.
no,
So
there's
you know
no
you-
ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're literally, I mean,
There's no
I was
use
looking
for
at
two
the
building.
Denver one. They're literally like 3/4 of a mile from each other. Like they're basically on the same street.
Yeah, and unless you're the warehouse guy making $15 an hour, they're not keeping you.
No,
You're out.
everyone's gone.
You're out.
And that's what's brutal about it is it's just people like I was reading the comments that was like, my delivery driver has just looked depressed since like December because he obviously, I mean, they were sitting in the same boat as all of us. Like the rumors were out there and they're like, they're doing the same math we're doing, right? They're like, okay, Grimco buys us. they're literally, I can see them from here. And what are they going to do? Obviously, we're out of here. We're done. This is it.
Yep.
And some of them are going to keep around, but a lot of them are they're gone. Like, this is the end. So the other thing I wanted to bring up with that, because we've talked about it like 10 times too, is what is going to happen to the GSG sales reps?
Same thing that's happened. I think same thing that's happened to the Advantage reps, same thing that happened to the Tube Light reps, same thing that happened to the Pioneer reps. They're going to give them some kind of offer that's probably usually big and try to get them to stay as long as they can and then get rid of them.
Yep.
They don't
Because that's
want
what
that.
they do.
They don't want that $150,000 a year sales rep.
No.
They don't want that guy.
They want the
They want the younger guy, which it's their strategy, right? Like it's working, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's just where I'm looking more long term. I don't care about the sales tomorrow. I care about the sales when you guys are doing it 10 years from now and I'm dead.
All they're doing is buying the sales reps customers.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
Yep.
They're getting that bond that the sales rep have. That's why they're going to offer you more money to stay, get your customers, get their trust, and then they're going to say, see you later.
So
Get them used to the site.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing you have to know is that if you are a GSG sales rep currently, Grimco is going to offer you money. They're going to keep all of you. They're going to keep all of you.
And they want to make you sign a non-compete.
But the only problem is you have to ask yourself, 8 months from now, do you want to compete with yourself? Do you want to switch everyone over to Grimco and then 8 months later you have to find a new job and you're going to have to go back and win all those customers back again? Or do you want to find a new home? Because ultimately you're going to find a new home either way. Like, they're going to keep, we've seen this 5 times now, right? You may think you're the greatest of the
What
greatest
is there?
there.
2 Advantage guys, sales reps left? 3?
3
3 Advantage
Out
sales
of how
reps
many?
left?
out of, I think there was 7 or 8.
And then same, so with Tube Light, I think there's 2 that I know of.
Yeah, there could be more.
The ones that we
matter.
the ones we would have liked to keep
Yep.
have
The ones-
stayed because Grimco realized that. But that's what I'm saying.
But we'll get him at some point. The same thing happened here with
25%,
Brian
yeah.
Coates.
Yeah, Brian Coates.
We wanted Brian Coates in Grand Rapids, and he chose to stay with Grimco. And what happened? He's here now. He had to go back and give all that business that he brought to Grimco right back to Wensco. Like, he competed with himself for a year. This last year, he literally was competing with himself.
Yeah, he literally had to go and undercut the prices he gave them at Grimco, basically. So,
But he's winning a lot of those customers right back.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we got.
so
I mean,
you can, but I mean, you're
great.
talking about like
and he says
you have
it's
to do it twice,
Yeah.
right? So you have to do it from whoever he was at before. You have to do it. You have to switch them over to Grimco, and then you have to switch them again. What I'm saying is, like, you can do that, but the problem is, forever, for the rest of your sales career, Grimco is going to be just biting at your heels of the thing. It's what happens here, right? Like, we joked about. Didn't even have to turn his phone off. How embarrassing! That's actually impressive.
Judy called me.
That's actually impressive that we've been recording this long, and that was the first time your phone rang. If the volume was on.
That's pretty good.
But what I'm saying, like, you're just going to compete with yourself. Anytime when we had the principal thing go down, like, we joked about, like, yeah, if you make a comment on our video, just plan to see a rep anytime soon. Like, that was the joke, because literally anytime somebody commented on any of our stuff, a rep showed up to talk about principal.
Yeah.
You're like, huh, it's kind of weird, huh? Like, anytime any of your mentions your name, someone just shows up at your door, right? Weird. But that's what's going to happen, right? If you give them your contacts, as soon as you leave and start picking them up, they're not dumb. They know what they're doing, right? They're going to be like, hey, here's the list. Like, don't lose these customers, right? Whatever you got to do.
But I think with the sales reps that we have right now, like, for instance, Brian Coates. Brian Coates came from there, went to a vendor, did Onyx for a little while, and then he got here. What was his focus of what he said?
Oh, I don't want to tell the story. I was going to tell a story, but we'll save it for a later date.
But he just called it out and said, I will not lose to Grimco ever again. I want to beat them, better quality, better knowledge, better products, everything, service, all that stuff. So that's the fire that you need to be a sales rep, right?
Oh, he's got the fire.
The other thing you have to realize, though, so Brian Coates took over my sales territory, and I have a customer that I still deal with because he refused to deal with Brian Coates. And he says because Brian Coates screwed him over on a deal. And when I've talked to both the customer and Brian Coates about it, what actually happened was Grimco just basically lied to Brian Coates. Like, hey, yeah, it's in stock. And then they didn't have it. It took him like 6 weeks. He lost a big account on it, right? That's going to happen, right? Like if you mess up a deal and it's not your fault and it's you lost that customer forever, right? Even when you switch, they don't look at it like Grimco screwed me over. They look at it like Brian Coates screwed me over. Even if it was 100% not his fault, that's what you're going to have to deal with forever, right? You're going to deal with, I lost a customer because I went to this company and they didn't fulfill what they said they were going to do. And then I lost customers and I moved companies and they still are like, not going to deal with him. Not a chance. So that's what you're
But he's still going to plug away.
Yeah, he still buys from us. Yeah. And spoiler alert, Brian Coates still gets paid on it.
And Tyler just
He's still commissioned off your account, so you might not want to call him, but yes.
You're welcome to call me. It's fine. A few of you already still do.
Can I get a thank you, Brian?
Exactly.
Maybe he could get you a Christmas present or something.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. I don't think it really matters. It's not frequent. This guy does not get a hold of me very often, but...
So are we wrapping it up then? Like, so kind of, I think we've covered everything that we want to cover. I don't think we said too much we shouldn't said. I mean, there's a lot more we could say, but
there's a lot more.
Yeah, the only thing I think to be aware of too, if you're listening to this, you currently buy from GSG, there's probably 4 or 5 vendors that Grimco doesn't currently carry that GSG did. So you have to be aware of what we were talking about. They're going to run it the same for 6 months. The other reason for that is they need to be able to get that product that they currently can't buy, which is why they're doing it the way they're doing it. Tube Light, I think, went faster because there actually was nothing besides Arlon.
Yeah, there was only a couple products.
And Roland.
Yeah, Arlon,
and Roland.
But they made that decision immediately. This one has been slower, right? Because
this one's a bigger
decision.
I mean, yeah, GSG was very good in certain markets. They were our Roland competitor. That's who it was. Yeah. Like versus in certain areas.
Yeah. So just be aware of business may continue as usual, right? And Grimco may get those lines. It's probably likely they're going to get at least some of them, but some of them they may not get. So you're going to have to start looking for other solutions.
So if you're in the Midwest area,
yeah.
Hey, we're right here. Just call us.
Yeah. Otherwise, like I said,
or don't call us. We don't have time for phone calls. Go to the website and just order.
Yeah. Hopefully our website will.
Yeah, we'll get it to you.
We'll get it to you.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Mm-hmm. Drop ships available.
Yeah, drop ships available.
In stock.
In stock, right? Let's use the Grimco thing. In stock.
We just talked about we're just going to switch it all to in stock. We're just getting punished because we're telling you guys the truth. So
we have more integrity than that. I don't like to purposely lie to people.
No. We're going to put, so it's 2 lines, right? So there's 2 lines of text. I'm going to see if I can get the second line to be really small font. And I'm just going to say in stock. Eventually it'll work.
Yeah.
Eventually
we'll figure it out.
Stock. Right? Yeah. Like it may not be in stock today. It looks like it on the website, but I mean, just eventually.
The other question is, why is it not in stock if someone's trying to order it? Better talk to your brother.
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, the problem is when you have 20,000 SKUs, there's not enough warehouse space out there to put all 20,000 of them out there. So
we got space.
Well, the other people so this will be the last thing I wrap up on. We were talking about like blatant lies. You know who else lies in this industry? The vendors. Got this big new product, dude. It's going to move a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And then they're just sitting out there. We don't believe you, okay? If you tell us, we're going to sell a bunch.
How many times? You got to stock it. Hold on. You got to bring in $20,000 worth of the product.
Listen, how many times have I told you I hate sales reps? Hate them. Like I can't. Like operations guys hate sales reps.
Yeah,
I hate sales reps.
We got 50 people on the road going to be pushing the product. You guys are going to sell so much of it, and then we're just sitting here like, really waiting for these orders to come in. Think it's gonna be today.
Got a phone call. Let me transfer you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it works, right? Like I made that joke. We made the joke about Nextbond, right? Where I was like, are we actually moving it? And then I was like, oh shoot, we are.
We are.
Like, sorry,
I told you guys to pay attention.
My bad. My bad. But usually that's the case is it's like, okay, yeah, is it actually moving? And then it's like, no, not really. But so anyways, we will try and stock it. If you would like to buy it, and we don't have it in stock, if you buy one and you think, I'm going to keep using this, just please call us. Because if you buy one, it's not going in stock.
Exactly. We
But
need
if you're
it to
going to
be
use it,
reorder.
we'll stock it for
You
you.
can even put a
then
note
it
on the
comes in
web
stock.
too. Can you please stock this? And they'll see that note and it'll get to us.
Yeah. Yeah. In your order instructions. So anyways, if you're good, put out in the wind, Reese, Glance, Wensco, check them out. If you're in Denver, best of luck to you.
Yeah. Good luck.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
And Nick, if you're listening, just know that technically speaking, you sold to GSG, who sold to Grimco. So technically, you sold to Grimco. You're welcome.
Yep. Yeah. Montroy, if you would have kept that branch in Denver, guess what? You'd be floating high right now.
Yeah, you would be.
Mile
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should open again. Actually, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the stuff there. Come on, Nick.
Yeah, you already know the customers. You've probably still got that.
You
data,
know what?
Hopefully.
Let's do it together, Nick. Give me a shout.
It's gonna be it'll be what
you
everyone
go.
thought's been happening for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
We're
Give me
gonna
a shout,
open
Nick.
Wensco
Let's get to
Montroy
Denver.
co-sponsored branch,
I
independently
like
run.
to ski. Well, I don't really
gonna-
ski. Skis for old people. I snowboard.
He can't ski or snowboard anymore. Anyways, he's gonna as soon as he gets off the lift, he's gonna be laying on the ground. He'd be like, "What happened? Cramp."
I was just saying, cramp.
I don't think it's funny to make fun of my medical condition.
No, he's gonna be. We're gonna have to drag him back down the hill, though. I'm not trying to make fun. I'm just not. I don't want to be the one to have to drag you down the hill.
Hey,
okay?
listen.
Drag him or push
You
him?
don't have to drag me far though, because I can park in the handicap spot now.
Gosh, dang it.
So I'll be right up front.
All right, that's it.
Set
So
it down on the Sinacade.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can slide down the
we'll
sign.
just put you on the Sinacade.
No
Slide
problem.
you
I'll
all the
stand
way
up
down.
and make it the whole way. No,
We'll
this fake falling down the hill, run into a truck.
Just remember. Just remember.
We'll actually do it.
Just remember. You need helmet.
Yeah, need helmet.
I need helmet.
Safety.
Safety. Need helmet. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is episode 48, Slightly Serious Sign Podcast. Live Q&A episode is 4 weeks from when this airs, or 4 weeks from when this airs. So send us your questions. If you made it this far, you definitely should be the one that's sending us questions. So whatever you want to ask us, if it's about Grimco or GSG or Wensco or product or whatever you want, or about Domingo's Bidet, just let us know.
Yep.
He'll answer all your questions.
I can tell you the model number if you want. What not to buy.
Alrighty.
All right, guys.
We'll see ya.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.